please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
12 noon, we're halfway through the trading session and we're staring at a downbeat market today. We opened higher, but the market's rapidly lost ground as we speak. The Nifty is now below the 10,150 mark. It's in the red, but from the top of the day, it's lost close to about 60 points. It's now below the 200-day moving average as well. The Sensex is down about 170 points, and the momentum is clearly negative in the broader market. So the mid-cap index is now down close to about 0.7%. It has underperformed this entire week, but if you look at the advanced decline ratio today, one stock in the green for close to about 3 stocks in the red. So that gap too has been widening. So clearly any bounce has been used as a selling opportunity. We saw that yesterday and it's happening today as well.
That's right, Rima. And if you take a look at a couple of those Asian markets, well, they are struggling in today's trading session. Both the Hang Seng and the Shanghai market, both of them were trading in the red. Remember, we were doing a relative outperformance at the start, but currently we're down. Both those two indices are down roughly around 0.5%. I'll tell you what, just pull up the Nifty Bank. Now that's very, very important because today's weekly expiry, the intraday chart should come up for you. It's moved to the low point of the day. You have stocks like ICICI Bank that's moved lower. You have Axis Bank as well that's taken a bit of a knock. And even SBI has moved to the low point of the day. So the reason that we have moved to the low point of the day just in the last few minutes is the Nifty Bank has done a U-turn of sorts. And all these banks, they are selling off as we speak. We're down close to around 60 points. Bulk of the losses on the back of ICICI Bank as well. Some news coming in on Reliance Infra. They moves Goa Commercial Court for payment of arbitration award of roughly around 290 crores. But all that is being ignored for now. We are seeing a lot of selling pressure on the screen. We'll talk more about stocks as well as the markets. First up.
All right, let's get chatting about individual stocks. One of the stocks which is managing to buck the trend today is Sun Pharma. It's lost some ground from the top of the day, but still higher by close to about 0.8%. Ekta is here to tell us the positive news flow it got from the US FDA. Ekta?
Well, important news which came in for Sun Pharma last evening, where they have received approval for a plaque psoriasis drug called tildrakizumab, and that is basically going to be a branded drug in the specialty segment that Sun Pharmaceutical is going to launch. Now, remember that this approval is actually expected to be quite competitive. It's already quite a competitive market that Sun Pharma will be launching this branded drug in, but the approval itself is considered to be quite a milestone approval for Sun's specialty foray in the US. Remember that this would mark its third specialty drug in the past 18-odd months that it's managed to sort of launch or create a foothold on in the US markets. Now, this particular product is expected to be launched in the first half of FY19. It is, like I mentioned, expected to be a competitive market with around 5 or more players. The market size around $8 or $9 billion, and it is growing in single digits. So, interestingly, the street is quite divided in terms of what exactly Sun could do in terms of peak sales. So, the street is estimating anywhere between $300 million to $500 million in terms of peak sales, with a market share of 5% to even 10% for Sun Pharma. It obviously depends in terms of the kind of build up for the drug that they manage in the US market, given the kind of competition that already exists. But having said that, the management has stuck by their guidance. They did say that they should hear on this particular drug in the month of March. That has come through, and hence the specialty segment foray and the fact that they're making strides in it would be considered positive despite the kind of competition we're seeing on this drug.
Okay, thank you, Ekta, for that. Nigel, Binani Industries?
Well, Binani Industries is under some pressure. Remember, the street was playing really the hope trade. They were hoping that if in fact that cement plant gets sold, they'll get some money coming in for Binani Industries. Remember, what's getting sold is Binani Cement, and Binani Industries is the parent out there. But remember, yesterday, in fact, there were reports that suggested that there was a forensic audit report that was out. We here at CNBC TV18 have managed to get our hands onto that Hari Bhakti report, and in fact they are stating a whole host of suspected potential suspect transactions. The 3 big points that we want to highlight for you, I don't know whether we have some visuals as well. One being that close to around 490 crores approximately was from a related party, and that money was never received. That's point number one. Second is that there was an inter-corporate deposit that was lent by Binani Cement to Binani Industries. So that's amounting to around 1,100 crores. And the third factor that they're talking about is that in fact, there was interest on this ICD that could amount to around 380 crores. So you put that together, the forensic audit report is stating that in fact, it's a rather large sum. We in CNBC TV18, we have, a document of that, the hard copy.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And what's on the boil today is crude oil prices. Manisha is here to tell us more on that. Manisha?
Well, thank you so much for that. Yes, we have gained 10% from March lows for crude. It's trading at a 7-week highs, and 5% of those gains actually have come in for this week itself. You have seen lots of supportive factors. To begin with, it is the US weekly inventories that have declined, not just for crude, but for gasoline and distillates as well. The weakness in US dollar, which has come in post the US Fed meeting announcement yesterday, also seems to be supporting many of these commodities. And add to that, the strong demand estimates going forward. The OPEC and allies have a compliance of nearly 134% put out for their agreement to cut output. And then there are geopolitical tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia. You have seen Venezuela tensions also continue to see a dip in case of their crude oil production. So all of that is a perfect recipe of some more support that you can see in case of crude oil prices.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Manisha. Well, Ashmit joins us as well. He's going to tell us the latest developments on Reliance Communications. That stock has moved to the low point of the day, by the way. Ashmit.
So clearly, as of now, no relief coming in for Arcom. Arcom, mind you, had moved the apex court, whereby they had sought a reversal of two orders, one of Bombay High Court, the other of NCLT. The main takeaway of both these orders were that both these orders, in their shape or form, had restricted Arcom from moving ahead with its sale with Reliance Jio. Now, that is something that Arcom had sought to contest before the apex court. Now, what the apex court has done is that, number one, it has agreed to hear the application, but on the larger prayer of whether or not there should be a reversal, on that, the apex court has differed in giving any definitive answers, and towards that end, has directed Arcom as well as Reliance Jio to maintain a status quo with respect to the asset sale. So as of now, no green signal coming in from the apex court to move ahead with that transaction. The apex court has merely agreed to hear this case. The case will be heard on April 5th. The reason this becomes important is because, mind you, that even the lender, SBI, the State Bank of India, has also moved the apex court, whereby they are backing Arcom. They are backing Arcom's argument that this sale should be allowed to go through, as it will help mobilize funds to meet the dues payable to all the lenders in question. So that's the one big question that will be addressed by the apex court. All eyes now on April 5th. That's when the Supreme Court is likely to take a call on whether or not it grants its blessings to the Arcom-RGO deal. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Ashmit. Well, here's a quick recap of all the buzzing stocks we just covered. We have Sun Pharma, Binani Industries, Reliance Communications, HPCL, BPCL, IOC, Jet Airways, Interglobe Aviation, SpiceJet, as well as Asian Paints. But moving on then, the race for Binani Cements, that heats up as Binani is with the Binani auditor warning that they have flagged off potential suspect deals. Earlier we spoke with Mr. Singhi, the group CEO of Dalmia Bharat, as well as Mr. Maheshwari, the managing director of Ultratech Cement, to get their sense of the deal. Let's listen in.
IBC process, which has evolved so far, has made total process very flawless, very transparent and very legal. And particularly the new guidelines which came out before this bid of Binani Cement was started, that how marking would be done, how financial numbers would be considered, how other qualitative numbers would be considered, that all were clear.
RP is saying something, another bidder is saying something, and this is what lends the entire process to total coming under question.
We could find that there are certain related party transactions, there are certain suspicious transactions which are there. So based on that, we could evaluate that how the asset is. So something new not has come, except that earlier we thought that these are related party transactions, they are suspicious transactions, but now with the revelation in today's newspaper that Hari Bhakti and company, a renowned chartered accountant audit firm, has come out with forensic audit report that there may be a fraud of, say, 2,300 crores.
At no stage of the proceedings has RP ever shared with us any such findings pertaining to any fraudulent transactions which they might have discovered. RP is managing the company now for whatever last 7-8 months. Maybe they were aware of it, but certainly it was not put out to in the knowledge of resolution applicants, and certainly not in our knowledge.
Fortunately, with robust legal system in place, robust IBC system in place, there is no alternate deal. And second, once you are in IBC, you can't go out. And that's why this deal is ours.
We cannot comment about other resolution applicants. If they were given more privileged information than us, then we cannot comment about that.
The 180 crore order from the Rajasthan government to develop and design the nation's very first 3D city model for Jaipur. Mr. Bali, the Executive Vice President, Head India and South Asia of Orient Pro, joins us currently. Hi, sir. Thanks so much for joining in. If you could help us out with details, sir. It's a 180 crore order. Will it pan out in FY19? Will it pan out, some part be there in FY20 as well? Give us a duration of this order. And if you could give us a sense, are you hoping for more such orders from other parts of the country as well?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I would like to tell about this order. Surely, the implementation phase of this order would be for this next financial year, 2019.
Okay.
And then there's a support period of 4 years for this project, where we'll be supporting government of Rajasthan in, integrating with other platforms.
In terms of revenue recognition, sir, how does it work? 180 crores is, you're telling us it's the order. You're talking about 4 years of support as well. So do we assume it's a 50 crores per annum, 40 crores per annum? Or
It's going to be roughly around about 100 crores plus
per annum?
For the first year, and then so on and so forth is for the support period.
Okay.
Okay, so 100 crore in 2019 and thereafter the remaining spread over 4 years. What will be the kind of margins you will make on this?
Oh, well, it's of course, it would be a decent margin for us.
If you could give us some broad idea?
It's a tendering thing, ma'am, and maybe, yeah, but I can tell you it's in double digits. It would be a good one for us, and really we could make some good things on this.
All right. So your revenue contribution, I believe, the amount that's coming in from the government is roughly around 15 to around 19%, very, very approximately. Now, with these orders coming in, are you looking to increase that proportion of your total revenues? Is there a possibility you get, orders coming from other cities as well?
Yes, of course. Orient Pro started a focus approach for the government as we were coming on a digital platform 4 years back. And we are really growing good year on year. So what I see is that the growth would be much better as we go forward, because we are established now and we have established our testimony in this particular field. And this being one of the first projects in India, government of Rajasthan has taken a wonderful initiative.
Right.
I feel that yes, it would be replicated across India as the government.
Which is the next state, sir? Which is the next state? Have you bid, in any other state? Could we expect to hear it?
Yeah. A lot of states are working. Mostly all the states are working on this because it's the government mandate to bring everyone on the digital platform. So all the states are working on this, and we are working on very closely with almost 4 or 5 states. I cannot divulge the name because of our agreement with those states. But yes, this is going to be a big game changer and the next big thing. So
you're already executing smart city projects for 4 to 5 states?
No, we're not executing. We are working along with the other 4 or 5 government organizations, government agencies to, to convert and do the 3D city kind of projects.
Okay. If you could tell us for which states the tenders are currently ongoing and what would be the rough size of all these smart city projects and the kind of competition?
Ma'am, the size is big. Size is really big.
Any numbers you could help us with to gauge the opportunity?
If you can just see that, ma'am, it's a pilot project like Jaipur with 3,000 square kilometer of digitization was around about 180. You can see the size of our cities and countries. It's going to be really very big. The numbers have still not been announced, but I feel that, if it even goes into the 10 cities or, more than that, it's really going to be a very big number of around about 2,000 crore plus.
Okay. And the kind of competition?
It's competition. Everyone has a space. We are there. We got the first one. So really, there were Wipros, there are TCS, there are other big players like L&T who are in this field and they are working onto it. City-wise, of course, there were some niche things, but city-wise, yes, we were now the first one to get into the city one.
Okay, all right. Mr. Bali, sir, the reason I asked you about the proportion of money you're expecting to come in from government is because I understand that you're also looking at various metro projects. If you could correct me if I'm wrong, but is that a possibility? You could see more business coming in from metro projects as well in various parts of the country?
Yes, we have been working very closely on even on the smart ticketing and smart transport part of this. We have won couple of orders with Nagpur and Noida Metro.
Okay, amounting to how much?
It's going to be a revenue sharing basis one. So these are some of the budding states. So yes, it's going to be a very, very big number and on this.
So if you could give us some number, you gave us 100 crores.
So if you see as Noida and Greater Noida itself is going to be a big people traveling out here. We see around about 300 to 400 crore plus kind of business coming in next 5 to 7 years from this place on the ticketing business for us.
Okay. What would your current order book be? Is there any way to quantify that? And what would this set you up by way of revenue growth in FY19 then?
Ma'am, as we close this in last 4 years, we have around about 100 million kind of orders booked and partially executed as well. So we are growing I have a lot of testimony. We are delivering the projects. We are gaining the confidence of the customer, government, and the players around. So we are growing at a good pace, and I see growing at much better pace.
Any revenue growth projections for FY19?
We have been growing between 50 to 70% year on year, and I think so. It will continue for next 1 or 2 years till we reach to a level where the percentage-wise growth will come down and the figure would go up.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bali, thank you very much for joining in. That's Orient Pro Solutions betting big on smart city projects as well as smart ticketing for metros. There's been a 15-point rebound on the Nifty, so after slipping close to about 60-65 points, at least as we speak, the Nifty is trying to claw its way back into the green, aided by IndusInd Bank. IndusInd Bank has moved up close to about 1.5%. Get that up for you on your screen. One of the few banking stocks which is in the green today, and that's nudging higher, while names like Axis Bank are trying to trim their losses. Let's invite our market experts, Ashwini Gujral and Rajat Bose, on the show to find out what the trend is looking like. Ashwini, another day when the market sold off from the top of the day, so all those bounces are being used to sell into. But there is a bit of a recovery taking place right now. How would you read it?
See, there's no sell-off, there's no recovery. We are just chopping around. So you can't have, 15-point recovery and 15-point sell-offs. The market is spent on the downside. Now, before the next move starts, it'll rebuild energy. And then let's see which way it goes. I think you could have several such days, because unless there's incremental news which helps the market take a direction, it will be fairly choppy and detrimental to traders, because they will lose a lot of money. Having said that, SBI is a sell with a stop of 248, target of 233. REC is a sell with a stop of 130, target of 122. And Sundaram Fasteners is a buy with a stop of 570, target of 595. Just to give an idea where you should act, if 10,050 starts to break, that's the time to act. Or if 10,250 on the Nifty starts to break, that's the time to act. Within this range, you'll have several days worth of narrow ranges. On the Bank Nifty, below 24,100 or above, say, 24,450, 500.
All right. Okay. So that's the view coming in there on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank. 10,050 to 10,250. We keep chopping around in that range. Coming across to Rajat. Rajat, what picks you have for us?
Sorry?
What picks do you have for us today, Rajat?
Oh, I have 3 buy calls for you. Because I tend to think that even though the Nifty looks pretty choppy and actually could head down, still there are stocks that are likely to move up. The new one that I've chosen for this session is Titan. 877.50 is my stop loss, and 891 and 896 are the 2 targets that I have. And the 2 other stocks I'm repeating, only changing their levels. These 2 have been recommended around, say, 10 o'clock. And one of them is HDFC Bank. 1865 is my stop loss, and 1887 and 1892 are the 2 targets for HDFC Bank. Apart from IndusInd, HDFC is another bank that is showing some traction in today's session, and probably this will be maintained. And Jubilant Foods is in a strong uptrend, and it is likely to continue in its uptrend. I would put a stop loss below 2235. 2294 and 2319, it's a positional call. These targets may not be met today, but yet Jubilant Foods long positions should be carried, and 2300 to about 2320 is the level where you should consider booking profits whenever that comes.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining in. Just a couple of mid-caps, which are looking good right now. Nalco should be up for your screen. That's gained close to about 3%. Capital First has seen a recovery from the low point of the day, so that surged close to about 1%. Bharat Forge is another stock which is managing to trim its losses and trying to get back into the green. So